their time with it, put a cordon around it, get the properly trained people and equip people in to then examine the vehicle, examine any packages or devices that's in it, and either detonate it or diffuse it. So that may take some time. And that also puts an added complication for them in keeping the scene secure. They've now got a potential explosive device on the vehicle, but they've also still got to keep the scene secure, move people away nice and safely, and deal with the actual incident that took place.
Yeah, and that will be a priority to make sure that no one is within the vicinity, won't it?
Absolutely. I think I heard either Siobhan or yourself mention they've swept through the market area, and there's also now messages going out to tell people to keep clear. That's often a challenge for policing when you get a major incident, a critical incident like this, mass casualty event, that you get other people come into the area to either stand nearby or look to see what's going on. So I think that a clear message going out from the German authorities is asking people, one, to leave the area, and two, to stay clear. So all the emergency vehicles have a clear.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the chat. I just came on for a little bit because I heard about this breaking news that's going on in Germany. At this Christmas marketplace, this car flies through, crashing, and multiple reports are saying they're saying 11 dead. Some of the old reports say at least one dead, but from what I'm seeing a lot right now, people are saying 11 dead. Let me see if I can show you. There's a censored version. I think maybe I can show that. The censored version. But just so you have an idea. I mean, it was really, really bad. The person goes right through the crowd, and then they don't just like stop. This was obviously very intentional. They keep going and hit the corner and go around. Insane. That's what's happening now. So some people are talking about maybe this is some type of terror attack. You know? And they've even talked something about
at their own Christmas markets leading up to Christmas. So from now until Christmas, there'll probably be a review of all security arrangements in and around most of the Christmas markets in Europe, if not all of them.
The German security authorities are saying that they'll investigate the Christmas market incident. That's according to the Interior Minister. Potentially, could we see Christmas markets shut down from today, particularly within Germany?
Possibly. I mean, that's a decision for the authorities based on any information, intelligence they glean from this.
One article I'm reading said, oh, this was a different incident. There was an incident 2019, 2016 in Berlin, a similar attack, which an Islamic extremist drove a truck through a crowd of Christmas market goers. And in that incident, it said at least 13 dead with dozens others injured. It's a crazy time. It is a crazy time. People have gone batshit crazy. If you haven't noticed, people are insane. You can't even go shopping. You can't go to school. You can't go nothing, nowhere. You can't be in your house. People are creeping outside your house and shit with guns. It is a crazy effing time.
Balanced reason judgment on what they have, and if there is an ongoing risk, if there's an ongoing chance that there's an escalation of these types of attacks at these types of venues, and they make the appropriate decision.
Probably not something that you can comment on, but just reading via the Reuters news wires that Elon Musk on X, formerly Twitter, is posting that Olaf Scholz should resign immediately. So clearly holding him responsible for the attack this evening. But as we were saying, Graham, it's very early as to, ascertain what type of attack this has been, if indeed it has been an attack.
Yeah, I would always suggest, or urge people to just wait until the German authorities actually establish all the facts, all the details, before making some.
So they have a photo of the guy, apparently. Yeah, they've been posting the photo of the first photo of the terrorist who deliberately drove his car into a Christmas market in Germany has been released. Notice anything? Let me take a look. Let me show you. Let me download this and I'll show you guys. People are suspecting some type of terrorist thing or some type of, you know how it goes. Immigration thing or whatever. Let me show you this guy here. This is the face that's floating around right now. I guess he was caught. I mean, if you watch the video, it's clearly intentional. There's no question about it that this person, and then the media is just trying to like, oh, well, just just something. I don't know. It's the car that ran there. I don't know what happened.
Secure the scene itself, secure the whole route that the car took, then start looking at gathering CCTV images from any shops or storefronts, look at any dash cam footage they can gather. So probably an appeal coming out later on if you're in the area at the time, you've got any dash cam footage. They'll be looking now fast time to build up an intelligence picture about the suspect that's been arrested, about the vehicle, the history of the vehicle, the route it's taken in, where it started from. They know where it's finished. They've detained one suspect. So just securing the scene. But first of all, priority has to be your casualties. And then once you've got them and anybody else that's in the area safe and secure, removed from the area, get their details, because a lot of those will be potential witnesses to actually what happened. And then slowly put your cordon in place, make that as big as you possibly can to make sure you've got the whole area secure, the whole route the car took is secure and contained, and then very slowly, methodically work your way through it. But lots of things going on at the same time. It's always a very, very chaotic scene for about the first hour or two as you're gathering details of casualties, gathering details of the hospitals they've all been taken to, making sure you've got your numbers correct so you don't go releasing figures or stats that are totally inaccurate. So that's difficult then, trying to get officers to some hospitals that might be 80.
Police suspect explosive in the car too. That's what I was hearing. Like right before I launched, and I was like listening and making the thumbnail. I had heard these people say something about a bomb, and they were checking and searching or something like that.
The casualties they've removed, the injuries, the hospitals they've gone to, they pass that to the police. They've got like a running total then, so they can be accurate with the figures they put out. And at the same time, the police on scene will be looking to secure the scene itself to make sure that forensically any evidence can be gathered. And then the officers dealing with the suspect will be looking to gather as much intelligence and information as quickly as they possibly can about that individual, and if there's any links to anybody else in the area, and any then potential further attacks that might take place.
Graham, thanks very much for the moment. Do stay with us, though. I want to cross back to Siobhan Robbins, who's in Berlin for us. And Siobhan, wondering if you can give us any insight as to why Elon Musk is calling for Olaf Scholz to resign immediately.
Yeah, so the background to this is not specific reaction to what's happened in Magdeburg. Basically, in the last 24 hours, Elon Musk tweeted his support for the far-right AfD party, just like he's tweeted support for other populist parties across Europe. But he said essentially that only the AfD can save Germany. And this at a time when earlier this week there was a vote of confidence, which is essentially triggering an election which will happen at the end of February next year. At the end of February, yeah.
Man, I'd be on high alert. I think anywhere, even in the U.S., with Christmas and all this stuff happening now, I'd be kind of on high alert. Just be cautious and careful. Try to be vigilant. I mean, but the way this crash happened, I mean, there's almost no time to even react to it. The way, like, the guy just...
that only the AfD can save Germany. That then prompted response from the AfD, who said, basically, yes, you're exactly right. We are perfectly placed to do this, but also reaction from the Chancellor, Olaf Scholz, who said we have freedom of speech, which also applies to multi-billionaires, but freedom of speech also means you can say things that are not right and do not contain good political advice. So for whatever reasons, Elon Musk has now seen what's happened in Magdeburg, which we understand has injured at least 60 people, and decided that this is the moment to call for Olaf Scholz to resign, although it is a fairly moot point because there's already been a vote of confidence and an election is on the way. So effectively, the process of him stopping as Chancellor at this point is already underway. It's now up for voters to decide who they want to run Germany.
Siobhan, for viewers that have just joined us, put into context the city of Magdeburg, we know that the Christmas market, extremely popular and very, very well attended.
Yes, so For people who aren't aware of the Christmas market culture here in Germany, which is similar to lots of other places in Europe, it's a really big deal, not just for tourists who come here to visit the beautiful Christmas markets, but also for local people who go out and meet friends and celebrate in them. And this is the last Friday before Christmas. So looking at pictures which appear to show the moment the car hit the crowd there, it did seem to be extremely busy. Now, reports saying that the car that went into this Christmas market in Magdeburg, which is the state capital of an area called Saxony-Anhalt. It's basically in almost like the middle of Germany. If you draw a straight line west from Berlin, you'll hit Magdeburg, keep going, and you'll get to Hanover. 240,000 people live there. Many of them will have been celebrating, moving into Christmas. Lots of families getting together from now ahead of Christmas next week. We do understand that there were barriers, but the car went through that. We know from the police, or from authorities at least, that it seems that the person who was driving that car has been arrested, but reports suggesting they are now sweeping the area and that vehicle for possible explosives. And then spokespeople from the city of Magdeburg, who put out their initial statement, say that this does seem to be some sort of attack. They haven't said who potentially is responsible for that yet, but it comes after the Interior Minister, Nancy Faeser, a few weeks ago said while there wasn't any specific intelligence to suggest that there were any attacks planned at that point on Christmas markets, that people should be vigilant.
And Siobhan, remind people of the fact that this comes 8 years after an attack on a Christmas market in Berlin.
Yeah, I think that's why, aside from the fact of when it's happening, the time of year that it's happening, which of course is just adds to the stress, people coming together, lots more people will have been there. In 2016, on the 19th of December, so the anniversary yesterday, a person who affiliated themselves with, they said they're affiliated with Islamic State, stole a truck and drove it into Berlin Christmas market, killing 13 people, injuring more. That person actually wasn't arrested at the scene and went on the run and was shot by police in Italy, actually, trying to cross the border. But that memory of that horrendous scene, and I remember reporting from that scene in 2016, in the days afterwards, will shake many people here. And it comes off the back of reports in the last few weeks that several the intelligence agencies and the police and security services had arrested several people in different areas who they believe were planning or scouting out locations for attacks on Christmas markets. No suggestion that any of these people were linked to each other or this was part of a wider, mass coordinated plan. But certainly it was something that it's clear the authorities have been keeping an eye on. And all of this in the back of a year where Germany really had already been on high alert for potential terror attacks because, for one reason, they've been hosting the Euros. So they had this mass football tournament with hundreds of thousands of people coming in over the summer. They put on 22,000 extra police officers. They warn people then to be vigilant. And that kind of repeat warning of vigilance has continued because after the Euros, then we had the Solingen attack, which is in West Germany, where a failed asylum seeker killed people at a music event that was taking place in that town. So people are aware of this, and we've already heard, for example, the leader of the far-right party coming out tonight and saying how many more of these. So these are also not just horrendous events in terms of security and mass casualty events, but they are also events which are highly charged in terms of the political conversations that happen around them.
Siobhan, we've had confirmation has lost their lives, but local media had confirmation, I believe, that one person has lost their lives, but local media putting that figure as high as 11.
That's what I'm getting, 11.
Yes, local media is saying 11, and certainly we know from the city of Magdeburg.
Yeah, most people online, from what I'm saying, it's at least 11. Initially, they were kind of sticking to one confirmed, but I'm seeing 11. It's a crazy ass scene. Let me see. Can I show this video? I don't know. That looks like dead people. But they did catch this guy. And I forgot who said it. They said he was 50 or 60, and he has, I think people believe it's a terror attack. A 50-year-old Saudi national carried out the attacks, what they're claiming. And they're also searching this person's vehicle for a bomb. Insane, man. At this market, Christmas market. I don't know how you pronounce it. Oh, let them do it for me.
Magdeburg.
Magdeburg. It's Magdeburg marketplace. It's a city, German city. And it has a lot of history. That I don't think I'm going to get into all this right now, but it has a Catholic history back in the day, a long time ago. I don't know much about it. I've never even heard of the city, to be honest with you. Magdeburg. Wow. Insane, man. How many of these kind of attacks we're going to see? First video, German police arresting the terrorists. Oh, okay, so let's check this out. Okay, it's very blurry, though. This is the person. Thank you, Smurf, for tagging me. Sit him in that car and then evacuate the area in case there's a bomb in there. And if that shit blows up, it blows up with the guy inside. Put him in there with the handcuffs and see if he talks. And just leave him there and everybody
can be
back
seen
away.
Knocked to the ground and running away. And Reuters were able to verify the location with the trees, outline and design of the buildings, matching file and sound.
And some people are saying, yeah, Cinema said war on Christianity continues.
Impact and the actual speed at which the car was driving.
Yeah, that's actually the video that I've seen on social media. It sounds exactly the same. Basically, from what I can see from that video, which I haven't verified independently, but Reuters news agency seem to have been looking into as well. Essentially, you have these two lines of wooden huts, the traditional wooden huts that you might have seen at Christmas markets in the UK, the European-style Christmas markets in the UK. And basically, there are lots of lines of little huts. They go one on one side, a walking area in the middle, and one on the other. And sometimes that walking area might have, you know, high barrels or high tables where people can stop and drink their drinks or eat their food. But it did seem like a very busy scene from the video I saw. And also the car really was driving at speed. This didn't appear to be someone who'd just accidentally taken a wrong turn.
No way, no.
This was a car driving at speed into a busy market.
Siobhan, I'm going to cross back now to Graham just to get a bit of insight from him. And Graham, we do know that an arrest has been made. Presumably police will now be trying to ascertain as to whether there are any other people involved in this attack and whether there are other areas that they should be focusing on.
It's a key line of investigation inquiry for the police from this incident. As I said previously, your first priority is a casualty, but any suspects or suspects come very close second, because you want to make sure the area is safe and secure for the emergency services to go in and start dealing with people. So, you know, the suspects or any other suspects that may have assisted them is also a key aspect and a key priority almost at the same time as dealing with the casualties. So a key line of investigation, key line of inquiry for them to actually make one arrest and then start doing a lot of background checks, background information on that individual. Motive is always difficult in many cases to establish, but that's what they'll be trying to do, try and establish the motive, any links to organisations, links to other individuals in the area or in nationally in Germany, just to gauge any threat or potential threat to any other events over the coming weekend. That will be key for the authorities now, is dealing with that suspect, getting their background information, any links, etc., associates, any other vehicles they've got access to. That will be key work that's going on literally probably as we're speaking now by intelligence and investigation units.
And Graham, a little while ago we heard that police suspect that there could potentially be an explosive device in the vehicle.
Yeah, that was one line that came out as well, that they're potentially viewing the vehicle as having a suspected explosive device in it. That's possibly come from either the suspect themselves or from when they first gone up to the vehicle and looked inside it. They've seen something they're not happy with. Puts another challenge on managing the scene itself, because you almost got then two separate scenes. You've got all the casualties as we've already spoken about, in the market area, then where the location where the cars finally come to a halt, and then that car becomes a scene in itself, and you have to secure that, make sure it's safe, put a cordon around that, probably about 200 to 400 metres, depending on the size of the car or the size of the device inside it. So fairly wide containment area just around the...
Yeah, they're saying the guy supposedly born in 1974 in Saudi Arabia. This one person here is claiming that this guy rented the car that he drove into the Christmas market. A piece of luggage was found in the passenger seat. It may contain an explosive device. Multiple people saying, just a couple of minutes ago, piece of luggage found in vehicle after Christmas market attack. Explosive suspected. Police have cordoned off the entire Christmas market. Bro, they got to bring in the bomb squad. This guy came in there, ran over, trying to do as much damage. Never let go of the gas. Hit the corner and kept going. Broke through the barricades to do it. And even had another plan, potentially with a bomb in there. Crazy, man.
A possible device, probably about, if it's just a normal sized car, off the top of my head, I think it used to be about 200 metres for a vehicle-borne device. That may have increased now with different explosives or different devices.
So what are some of these people, what do they believe? They're going to get into heaven, I guess, after doing this? Like this is their way into heaven? Guaranteed?
Meter cordon areas that we used to put in place in the UK when we used our police in the IRA terror campaign. So whenever we dealt with vehicle devices then, they were sort of like the distances we used to use. So it'd be something along those lines, about 200 metres around the vehicle, to be clear, and then possibly the market itself. So we've already heard the general authorities asking people to leave here if they were there. They will be safely and securely moving those away. And then there's probably going to be a plea as well for people just to stay away from here. Don't block the roads up. It's key that the emergency services have a clear access and exit route from the scene, one for the casualties, but two, to get all the units and resources they need into the area as quickly as possible so they can deal with this incident as quickly as they possibly can, gather all the information that they can as quickly as they possibly can so they can make informed decisions about any ongoing risk to either local residents or other markets.
With this type of incident, Graham, will they be working through the night? I mean, this is ongoing for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, through the night, through the weekend. It's when you get a major incident like this, a critical incident, you will, in a mass casualty event, the officers on duty will stay on duty. They'll be calling people in. Investigators will literally be phoned up and called into work. Their specialist units, possibly even their counter-terror, the counter-terror unit will be coming in. They should have, if they're similar to the UK. There's always a team on standby to come in for any sort of incident. So they would be in by now if that's the case. And they will literally work through the night and through tomorrow, and then if need be through Sunday, and so on and so on. And they'll gradually factor in occasional rest periods. But from now till I'd expect sometime tomorrow, the officers on duty will stay on duty. Those scenes will stay secure. The officers at the hospital will stay at the hospitals until they get other people to come in at some point tomorrow to take over from them. So it will be literally worked throughout the night, and I would expect throughout the weekend on this.
Thanks very much for the moment. Stay right where you are. I'm going to return to Siobhan Robbins in Berlin, who has an update for us. Siobhan.
Yes, so this comes from DPA news agency, which is the main German news agency here, and they're saying the man arrested following a suspected attack on a Christmas market in Magdeburg was not previously on law enforcement's radar as a known Islamist. Now, this follows reports by local media that the suspect is about 50 years old. That's according to local media. And also unconfirmed reports, and I really want to underline this, but being reported by lots of German media that the person may have come from Saudi Arabia. However, that hasn't come from the police, and I do want to underline that fact because sometimes in attacks of this kind, the information that comes out at the start from local media or from local sources turns out not to be the case. However, just to bring you up to date, DPA news agency has said that the arrested suspect was not a known Islamist, according to their sources.
So that the very latest coming into us. Graham, I presume you were able to hear that information from Siobhan, that the man that has been arrested and is in custody was not on police radar as a Islamist terror suspect. So that's ruled out, I guess. Not necessarily that the person isn't an Islamist, but they were not on police radar.
Yeah, it's a different way of looking at it. The fact they're not on the radar doesn't actually mean that they're not linked to a group. It just might be they've not been identified or confirmed that they've got any links to a known Islamist or terror group. And it's always difficult. I saw that report online about allegedly from Saudi Arabia suspects, but again, that sometimes comes and you know, media agencies, news agencies, as you know, send teams to these areas. They'll speak to people that may have seen the incident take place, may have seen the arrest of the suspect, and people naturally will look at somebody and either hear something or assume that somebody is from a certain location. So, as I said in an earlier piece, the police will want facts on this. They will only release facts once they've got them. So once they've confirmed suspects' details, the identity, the nationality, where they're resident, etc., then they will release those facts once they've got them confirmed. And I think it's right for Siobhan to say, you know, it's to underline allegedly from Saudi Arabia. But again, that could have come from third or fourth hand from a witness at the scene who's seen or heard something, and then put two and two together. So from a police perspective, you always work on the facts that you can actually confirm and establish with people before you release the details. So I'd urge people to wait for the German authorities to confirm, 1, the age, 2, the gender, 3, the nationality, and 4, whether they were actually either known or on the radar, so to speak.
And Graham, in an attempt to establish the facts, there will be a lot of questioning, which could take a number of hours. I mean, are there any limits as to how long that the suspect will be questioned for?
I'm not fully up to speed on German terrorist laws. In the UK, it can be days. So I'm not up to speed on the German terrorist laws or their detention rules. But in the UK, it can be up to days. But again, they probably have the similar sort of rights that once they're arrested, they have the right to have a rest period after a certain period of time. So they will probably have to do a few, either 1 or 2 urgent interviews straight away before the suspect goes into any form of like rest period to make sure there's no coercion or undue pressure put on them to answer questions, which might sound a bit perverse to people listening to, but there are certain things you have to adhere to when you're dealing with suspects. I'd imagine even in Germany. So they like to do maybe 1 or 2 urgent type interviews before the early hours, and then maybe put the suspect into a rest period and then start again tomorrow. But they want to do a couple of urgent interviews to try and establish, again, as I mentioned, any ongoing risk, any links to other individuals or groups in the area, their background, the liaisons they've had, etc. They want to get that fairly established fairly quickly, maybe by an urgent interview or 2 before any sort of like rest period, and then they'll start again tomorrow with more lengthy questioning.
It's 9 o'clock. You are watching Sky News and our continuing coverage of a deadly attack at a Christmas market in the eastern German city of Magdeburg, where a car has been driven into crowds. Here's what we know. The city's deputy mayor says that at least 1 person has been killed and 50 injured. There are local media reports of at least 11 deaths and between 60 and 80 injured. Officials say a man suspected of being the driver has been arrested. Police have said extensive police operations are currently taking place at the Magdeburg Christmas market. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz posted on social media that his thoughts are with the victims and their families. We stand beside them and beside the people of Magdeburg. Well, our Europe correspondent Siobhan Robbins is with us still. She is in Berlin, but you are looking at the live pictures from Magdeburg of the area surrounding that Christmas market where the attack took place. Siobhan, tell us exactly what happened. Give us a timeline of what happened and when.
Yeah, so this seemed to have started in the early hours of this evening. So the Christmas market would have
in die Menge auf dem
fairly
Weihnachtsmarkt.
busy at that point. Reports that people were there with their families as well, when video seems to show a car driving at speed into a crowd at the Christmas market. Now, police have said that they arrested the driver of that car. According to the German news agency DPA, that person who's being questioned is not a known Islamist, according to their sources. Other German media saying that the person who has been arrested is around 50 years old. Now, we understand from local media that police have been sweeping the market, which they've locked down, got everyone out of. They've been sweeping it for explosives, including sweeping the car that person was driving. And the language coming from the city spokesperson is that an attack appears to have happened in Magdeburg. Now, they haven't said who they believe is responsible or the motivation behind that attack, but they are using the language attack. And they said that the hospitals within the city are prepared for what they're calling a mass casualty event. In terms of the numbers of people that we understand have been injured, AFP news agency saying between 60 and 80 injured, local media, Reuters news agency as well, saying 11 dead at the moment. But those numbers are expected to change because this is a moving situation. And as Graham was saying, the emergency services will be working at speed now, so that we know, for example, that hospitals in the nearby city of Halle, which is around 80 kilometres away, have been told to be on standby to be prepared to receive injured people from the Christmas market. We also know police are putting out updates on social media telling people to be calm, to keep away from the area, and that they are working at speed. But their priority will be twofold: making sure the scene is secure, making sure, and as part of that, making sure that the risk has gone, and then building a timeline of where this car came from to try and build up a better picture of what may have happened and what may have motivated what is being called an attack.
Siobhan, we're looking at the live scenes around the Christmas market there in Magdeburg, and we know that police suspect that there is an explosive device in the vehicle.
Police, that's certainly the line that's coming from social media, that police are looking for the possibility that there could be an explosive device in the vehicle. Now, we don't know if that's just because an eyewitness at the scene may have said, I saw something, in the vehicle, and they are responding to that and being cautious, or whether they've seen something themselves. They haven't had time, and simply it's not their priority to release that type of information at the moment. But we do understand that is definitely something that they have been looking for, the possibility that there are explosives at the scene.
And Siobhan, presumably the operation, the questioning of the suspect, and the cordoning off of the area, the protection of the site, this goes on through the...
So this car blasted through the barrier. That's what they're saying. Is this what the barrier looks like? Lily in London posted this on Twitter. They got barriers. I don't know if the barriers got defunded, all this defund shit. Maybe they used, plastic, aluminum, or polycarbonate. I don't know which one. I don't know what I'm talking about, but crazy. It was going so fast, he just blasted through it. Wow.
Their priority at the moment, making people safe and responding and supporting those who have been injured. We have heard from several politicians responding to this. Now, just on that explosives, I've just seen a line saying that police have cordoned off the city centre because they believe an explosive device is in the suspect's vehicle. That coming from MDR. The vehicle at that point was still on the scene, but that was reported around 40 minutes ago. So that might have been updated from now, but we know that they were looking at that. Just a bit more information, though, from that. The car appears to have hit the crowd at around 7 local time. And so that will have been a period that will have been busy. It's dinner time. People who have broken up from work or kids who've broken up from school may have been there with their families. People having end of work Christmas drinks. They are extremely popular. Christmas markets are a huge part of the culture. And many towns and cities have them. And it's only recently that the Interior Minister here, Nancy Faeser, had said we want people to be vigilant at Christmas markets, because at that point they said there wasn't any specific information about planned attacks, but they wanted people to be on high alert, because we know in the past, and Germany knows itself in the past, that Christmas markets have been a target for terrorists.
We're just getting some lines from the Reuters news agency, and they're quoting the German state premier, in which he says this is an awful tragedy, many injured, at least 60. He said, we caught the culprit, and he says, the German state premier, he or she, I'm not entirely sure, the perpetrator is a doctor from Saudi Arabia. That's according to the German state premier. Also goes on to say the perpetrator acted alone, do not see an ongoing threat. That's
we're going to have to talk.
Very latest coming.
We're going to have to talk to all his friends, associates, whoever he came here with. They need to find out all of that. He's got to be talking to other people that agree or think like him. Not that everybody would, but they need to thoroughly investigate that out.
Saxony-Anhalt, where Magdeburg is. Magdeburg is the state capital. There'll be a leader of that state. So it seems, and I haven't seen that statement myself yet, that statement is coming from that person. And that will be the person who's getting the immediate lines from the emergency services about what's going on. So they're saying this person appears to have acted alone. That will be reassuring for people living in that city who will be reeling from this attack.
It wouldn't bring me much comfort. I mean, I don't know. I guess you're saying he acted alone. That wouldn't bring me no comfort. I still got a week to Christmas. Actually, less than a week. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not less than a week, but close. So much can happen between now and then. That shit wouldn't bring me comfort.
People living there. And we don't know the motivation behind what's happened. We do know from the authorities, though, that they are calling this an attack.
The German state premier going on to say we can currently not rule out further deaths due to severe injuries. And statement goes on, two dead in Christmas market attack. So that figure as to the fatalities rising, according to German state premier, to 2 people now, although local media have been putting that figure at 11, but 2 people confirmed dead now, Siobhan.
Yeah, and I would just give you a bit of background to the culture here. The authorities generally in Germany are very cautious and careful about releasing information too soon. So you don't tend to see the police putting out figures until they're confirmed. So many of the other figures we're seeing, for example, potentially 11 dead, will be sources that local media have within various agencies.
Yeah, well, we'll have to find out. The numbers probably evolving, and like they said, there's people that are probably critically injured, and so people may pass after, while they're in the hospital or on the way or whatever. This was posted on Twitter with a caption. I don't know if the caption is accurate. I don't know what they're saying, but it says, just days ago, German police were securing Christmas markets by harassing old German ladies to confiscate their Swiss Army knives that they carried for self-defense. Their priorities are completely insane. They can carry knives out there? Can carry a little pocket knife? Let's see. The feds.
Bis heute wurde kein Messer gefunden.
Oh, so they're just doing the random searches.
Dann dürfen Sie gerade einmal zur Kollegin, die schaut gerade mal bei Ihnen. Genau, ich fange mal mit Ihrer Handtasche an kurz. Sie haben nichts aber dabei, kein Messer. Okay. Nicht, dass ich wüsste. Ja, okay. Ich habe ein Messer irgendwo, aber...
I might have a knife somewhere. Look at the side.
Gucken Sie mal auf der Seite. Wo? Auf der Seite. Da?
Aber ich weiß es nicht. Ich räume die immer öffnen hier.
Ja, doch, da ist tatsächlich eins.
Ist was drin?
Ja.
A little Swiss knife with the little bottle or wine opener. Yo, that's what they're cracking down on.
Das ist das Problem.
That is a problem.
Das auch so.
That is something like that would be. That would also be an administrative offense.
So was jetzt grundsätzlich halt dann eine Ordnungswidrigkeit wäre. Deswegen müssten wir
That's why I must keep this
dieses
knife.
Messer behalten.
Wow. Okay.
Asylum seeker, and he went there to lay flowers. There was also an attack in Mannheim as well earlier in the year. And so, unfortunately, this is something now that Olaf Scholz has had to do on a few occasions already.
What have we heard from other politicians?
So, as background to people at home, Germany is about to go into an election, and Olaf Scholz is the Chancellor. The next big party, which is the party of the former Chancellor that people remember, Angela Merkel, the person running to be the next Chancellor there, Friedrich Merz, has said, "This is very depressing news from Magdeburg. My thoughts are with the families, the victims and their families. I thank all emergency services who are caring for the injured on site." And then Alice Weidel, who is the leader of the hard-right AfD party, which has seen a surge in support over the last year. And actually, they are a group that have campaigned for years on an anti-immigration ticket and often speak out very quickly and very strongly after terror attacks when it becomes clear that asylum seekers or failed asylum seekers have been involved. She has spoken as well and said, "The images from Magdeburg are shocking. My thoughts are with the bereaved and injured. When will this madness end?" Of course, I must underline that we really don't know that many details about the person who has been arrested.
So far, what we've gotten, this suspect, people believe it's a terrorist attack, though they're saying, I guess he acted alone, officials. I mean, one person seems to be responsible. He drove the car into the crowd, and they found some type of luggage or suitcase that they think maybe there's a bomb in there. The guy's 50 years old, allegedly Saudi Arabian, which possibly, maybe, looks like it. And they're saying that he's lived in Germany for 10 years already, supposedly. 10 years. Also that he's a doctor. Okay. A doctor.
I would urge people to take this as part of a wider spat that's been going on over the last few days, which is based on the fact that, as I said, Germany is going into an election, and Elon Musk went on social media and said that the AfD essentially was the only hope for Germany, which is the hard right party. The AfD, of course, absolutely celebrated that and said, "Yes, you're right." And then Olaf Scholz, the Chancellor, came out and said, "We're a country that believes in free speech, but," and I'm summarising, "but in short, that doesn't mean that the advice being given by billionaires is necessarily correct or measured." So this is a backdrop to an ongoing spat that's been going on, and now Elon Musk has decided that he should tweet that Olaf Scholz should resign. But I think really Elon Musk will be the last thing on the mind of Olaf Scholz, who, as you said, is preparing to visit the scene where we know at least 60 people have been injured.
Olaf Scholz.
Let's just bring Graham Wesson back in, who's still with us, our police commentator who is seeing the pictures that you are live from Magdeburg at the site of that Christmas market where a car drove into shoppers earlier this evening. Graham, talk us through exactly what will be happening now in terms of the investigation. We know that the scene has been made secure and an arrest has been made.
Yeah, initially, these scenes are always chaotic. I think it's described as a mass casualty event. First emergency services on scene, your priorities, your casualties, and almost at the same time. just trying to identify where the suspect vehicle and the suspect is. So you're juggling two really critical and key priorities to deal with initially, is that dealing with the casualties who have been injured as a result of this attack, but also locating and securing the suspect to make sure that no one else is further injured by the fact that they are still on scene. So you've got two competing demands there initially. Once you get the suspect secure and detained, and then you're dealing with the casualties, arranging for ambulances to turn up, a location for the ambulances to come to, almost like a triage centre, start dealing with the casualties on scene. At the same time, thinking about the scene itself that you've got to contain. You've got to move people away from the market to make sure they've got a safe and secure exit route. But you can try and manage that because you need their details as well, because many of those will be potential eyewitnesses to what's gone on. So you need to manage that aspect as well. Once you've got all those things almost managed and manageable, advising people to leave the area, asking people not to come to the area, not to block the roads up, because clearly, as we can see from the images, numerous emergency service vehicles needed to get into the area. And then importantly, the ambulances need an exit route to get to the hospitals in the local vicinity. And there was a report earlier on that they're even going as far away as 80 kilometres to other hospitals. So clearly a significant amount of casualties that's overwhelming the local hospitals. They're having to travel some distance. So they need a clear exit route as well. So that's part of the police's role, to manage the access and exit routes. Secure.
Yeah, hospitals nearby, they're preparing for a mass casualty event. It says the hospital's taking care of 10 to 20 patients. But it's preparing for more. Magdeburg's hospital. And they're also saying here that I guess there was another market, second Christmas market evacuated as a precautionary measure. The German broadcaster MDR is saying another Christmas market in the city of Erfurt, if I'm saying that right, in central Germany is being evacuated. Yeah, I'd be gone too. Shit. I'll stay indoors, put the Christmas tree up, or whatever, put the TV on, or whatever, the screen, put a fireplace thing, put some Christmas music and call it a day. Barricade the door, have your guns. It's so crazy, man. Like, I know I'm being a little... I can't even believe how chaotic it's gotten. I mean, is it getting worse? Are things just, the end of times? You say the end of times all the time. Really, really sad for this. Let's see what he has to say here. Really sad for the families, man. Imagine that's the way your loved one dies, or kids killed.
It's okay jetzt, ja.
Yes.
Ja, wir sind hier
we are at the crime scene now,
und
and we are really worried.
Leitstelle im Innenministerium.
And we have the current facts which were available. We did manage to research and evaluate them. There's so many injured and 2, unfortunately, dead. And it is tragic and really terrible. It is a very severe, horrible thing, which also led the Chancellor just called as well to accordingly. Well, we're all live now. Hello, Mr. I think Haseloff. It is a terrible tragedy. It is a catastrophe for the city Magdeburg and also for the country and Germany. So far, there are 2 dead and so many injured, around 60, and some are severely injured, especially when they were just willing to spend some time at the Christmas market. This is a terrible thing that happened. It was a doctor from Saudi Arabia who's been in Germany too since 2006 in Sachsen-Anhalt. At the moment, it's been a crime committed by 1 person, and there is no further danger to be awaited. And in the morning, we can double-check and re-evaluate the situation. And accordingly, we can then discuss necessary measures and also evaluate the severity of the attack together with the prosecutor. So at the moment, the injured will be taken care of medically, and we will use all in our power to take care of them, and also, of course, family members of those injured are in shock. They're all having to digest this trouble, this terrible tragedy. It is a figure of a minimum of 60 who are injured, and they're also severely injured. And at the moment, it's only a speculation. It is a terrible tragedy, one that too many, and there will be consequences in a long-term case. And at the moment, I cannot say anything further. Thank you. Yes, thank you. I would say the Interior Minister will be dealing with further details, and the technical details will be collected and evaluated later. This is all the information I have. The Minister of the region said that right now 2 people have been killed. The culprit, the offender, is from Saudi Arabia. He traveled into the Federal Republic of Germany. He is a doctor in Magdeburg.
A doctor in
At the moment, we know that he's been acting on his own.
You know what I think? This guy was a doctor in their own city. They need to look into his ass if he's killed other people. He probably took like a lot of, you know, you ever heard like those angels of death, like some nurses, all those stories throughout history where a nurse is killed, I don't know, like dozens of people, and it took them a while to figure it out. I don't know if this guy's killed people, overdosed them, inject them with stuff. I don't know. Purposely let people die when they were coding, watch them suffer. I mean, it's really I guess the nurses probably that would be administering the medication, but he could come in there too and do whatever he wanted.
And everything else will be done checked later, depending on what else we'll find out. At the moment, we have a temporary description of the situation. He used a rental car with a registration of Munich, and this all needs to be analyzed. And for now, we know he's been working in Magdeburg at a company, and I can't add anything more to this. This is all the information we have at the moment. Further analysis also regarding the safety situation in Magdeburg will be dealt with We have the existing capacities to take care.
You do need action, right?
I arrived here an hour ago, and we have used everything in our capacity to a maximum. We will be needing still more medical personnel, and we are also trying to give you information based on our current knowledge of the situation, and there will be more tomorrow.
Okay, that the very latest from the state premier of Saxony-Anhalt there, Rainer Hasselhoff, in which he confirmed that the suspect is a doctor from Saudi Arabia who's been in Germany since 2006. He said that, as far as they know, he was acting on his own. He used a rented car registered to Munich. And he also said that one of those who died was a small child. Or listening into that, Siobhan Robbins, our correspondent, New York correspondent, who's in Berlin. Siobhan, he also confirmed that the two deaths and said that one death is one too many.
Yes, so this is the state premier telling us the latest that he knows, Rainer Hasselhoff, telling us, first of all, as you said, that 2 people already confirmed dead, one of those believed to be a small child, that at least 60 injured. However, some of those are severely injured, so sadly they are expecting those numbers to rise overnight. Talking about this person who was arrested at the scene. Now, the state premier is saying that is a 50-year-old. The suspect is a 50-year-old Saudi Arabian doctor who first came to Germany in 2006. In terms of the injured, now at least 60, later they're saying at least 68 potentially, and of those, 15 we understand, according to government officials and the city government website, at least 15 of those are very seriously hurt. 37 have injuries which they're describing as of medium severity, and 16 were lightly injured. So if you look at the focus there, we know 2 people confirmed dead, according to the state premier, and at least 15 at the moment severely injured. And then after that, 37 with medium injuries. And the city spokespeople had said that all of their hospitals are now preparing for a mass casualty event. So they are probably now dealing with a mass casualty event rather than preparing for it. And also that hospitals in the neighbouring cities, for example, in the city of Halle, which is a big city around 80 kilometres away, their hospitals were also put on standby to receive some of the injured. Now, just looking on social media, and Bild newspaper is suggesting that Erfurt, which is a city in Thüringen, which is in the east of Germany, has closed its Christmas market.
Okay, we covered that. So again, these media people saying 2, but I'm seeing a lot of places online saying 11. I'm thinking the numbers are going to go up. And 1 second. Okay. And by the way, there was some guy pissed off in the chat saying something about I was making up 11 people. You could just go on Google and type it, right? Go on Google, type 11 dead, and you'll see it. But Colin here was saying, just a little roundup. So, Germany Christmas market terror attack. Guys reportedly 50 from Saudi Arabia was working as a doctor. That's mind-blowing. At the Magdeburg clinic. And they believe they found an explosive in his car, but they're still waiting to confirm that in the luggage. Explosive device believed to be in car. 70 injured, 15 in serious condition at the moment. At least 11 are dead. Suspect was working as a doctor. The car traveled over 400 meters through the market. The suspect was driving a dark BMW. And somebody in the chat was saying that earlier, too. That was rented. And Olaf Scholz, the chancellor, said something terrible is to come. Musk calls on Scholz to resign. A lot of people, they're really upset about that. Oh, how could he say that? That's not right. What? They're really upset about that. And sadly, a kid is deceased, dead from this whole situation.
Suspect, and they're not happy with what they've seen in the vehicle, or just the fact it's been used in the type of attack it has, and there's always a potential for the vehicle to have a device in it as well. That's been a tactic that's previously been used. So the officers are either being overly cautious and want to make sure the vehicle is thoroughly checked and cleared by bomb disposal experts, or the suspects alluded or suggested something themselves, or the officers themselves have seen something in the vehicle they're not happy or content with. So they are treating that as cautiously and probably rightly and professionally as they should do. So that will have its own exclusion or cordon around it, probably around 200 metres, just to exclude people from it and to give the bomb disposal experts a clear route into it and access to the vehicle so they can thoroughly check it and then make sure it's secure and safe for the officers to actually investigate it properly.
And Graham, can we presume that the operation continues throughout the night, that the police activity will continue, the questioning of the suspect will continue, and we will see this as a crime scene throughout the night? There will be police present?
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to take hours to deal with. It's a chaotic scene for the first possibly 2, 3 or even 4 hours. It sounds like it's, as we've mentioned, and the figures you've mentioned, a mass casualty. I think I totaled up about 68 injured, reports of 2 dead, so 70 people involved, plus their friends and families, etc. So a massive incident for the German authorities to deal with. The investigation will run through the night. There'll be officers being called into work in Germany. Officers with investigative background, maybe with counter-terror background, will come in and support the investigation overnight. That will go throughout the night. The suspect will be probably interviewed, urgent interview, once or twice to try and get more details and information from them. It's already been mentioned, I think, by the State Premier, that they believe he was acting alone, but that will need to be confirmed and supported by questions and investigations. But the inquiry itself, the investigation.
So somebody posted a clip. I don't know. Okay. Just in, CNN says the attack at the Christmas market in Germany may have been carried out by a right-winger. You do not hate the legacy media. Okay, let me check it out. I don't. What?
But also, this wasn't a normal week in German politics.
No, that's not what they said. The title of actually, she didn't say that.
We're acting alone. That will be the sort of information I would expect the German authorities, once they have it confirmed and actually the facts established, they then start releasing themselves. But it seems a very different approach to media communications in Germany. You see the State Premier then giving quite a detailed, an in-depth assessment so far of the information he has, and he's clearly been well briefed already, probably from the German police, German authorities. So, a different approach to the media from a state official giving such in-depth details over a phone call and during an interview, and then another individual coming on and almost like repeating that information. But I would expect the German police to come out with some sort of statement at some point, either overnight or very early tomorrow, just to put the wider public's concerns at rest, or to advise or warn them if they need to.
And we could potentially see other Christmas markets close also, couldn't we?
Yeah, potentially that's an option. I think there's at least one other already, as we've talked about. It's been shut locally. That will be a balanced and reasoned decision that the market organises in different towns in Germany. And these are very popular sites over Christmas, the German Christmas markets. Lots of the locals go there, lots of tourists attend there. So it is quite a key decision that needs to be made. But the priority for all of this will be the safety and security of those people attending. So the organisers of all the markets will want to know as much information, factual information, confirmed by the German police as soon as they possibly can, so they can make a decision if they open, and if they do open, then they need to enhance or extend their security operation, their cordons. They need to put more vehicle barriers in. They need to restrict the access to vehicles into the area of their particular market if they can, without knowing the geography of every single German market. It comes down to each one is dealt with in its own individual right. So what access there is to that particular market, what vehicle access, can they put different vehicle blockers in? Can they put a barricade in? It sounds like this vehicle may have potentially gone through a barrier. So, what sort of barrier was that it drove through? Do they need to enhance or reinforce any barriers around any other markets to make them as secure as they possibly can? But it's not always possible. It's a real difficult challenge for the police to get the balance right to try and make these places as safe and secure as they can, but still allow some access for the traders, the people attending, and public transport, etc.
Graham, thank you very much for the moment. Stay right there. Let's cross now to our correspondent Saba Chowdhury, who is monitoring developments from the newsroom. And Saba, bring us up to date with everything that we know at this point.
Good evening, Gillian. Well, a very serious incident has taken place tonight at 7 p.m. local time in Magdeburg, east of Germany. We know up to 2 people have been killed, including a toddler, and up to 70 injured, according to the German state premier, Dr. Rainer Haseloff. This is after a car drove at speed straight through a busy Christmas market in Germany. There is still a heavy police and emergency service presence there, as we can see in those pictures. Now, we know that a man has been arrested. His identity is currently unknown, but the German state premier has said that the individual is believed to be a doctor from Saudi Arabia who's been in Magdeburg since 2006, that this, he said, is an individual that used a rented car with a registration plate from Munich. He also said that he believes that this individual did act alone. Now, in terms of those injured, the state premier has said that further deaths, unfortunately, cannot be ruled out at this stage due to the severity of the injuries that we are seeing. And we also know that all hospitals in Magdeburg now are preparing for a mass casualty event, although to be frank, they are probably dealing with this mass casualty event. Police have released a statement saying that there's an extensive police operation ongoing. There is a crime scene in place. Forensics are there, likely to be there throughout the evening. Something police haven't said is whether or not this is a terror attack. Now, the German Chancellor, Olaf Scholz, has said on X tonight that his thoughts are with the victims and their relatives. He says, "We stand beside them and beside the people of Magdeburg." The Chancellor is expected to visit Magdeburg tomorrow morning. Now, we currently understand the market has been closed, it's locked down, as has a neighbouring one. We can expect others in the proximity to be closed too. But as stated...
What a sad situation. Man. And the closer we get to Christmas, maybe there'll be more. Maybe be more attacks and stuff. People have to be very vigilant. People are activated, people, just, politics or just, ideologies and all this stuff. People are getting activated. Trump, he got elected. So people are, Luigi, Mangione, people are losing their minds with that too. Copycats. We're just going crazy now, man. "50-year-old decides to flip the switch." Maybe it's always been flipped. Why wait all those years to do something, I wonder? And work in their hospital and treat patients. It's just weird. Mental health? They always say mental health, right? Mental health? I mean, mental health is a big thing, but something happened in his 50s? Is it the political climate over there in Germany right now? Flip the switch. How much planning did he do? Did he rent the vehicle that day? How long was it rented for? Weird. Additional footage of the suspect who committed tonight's ramming attack. Let's take a look at this. Get down. That's true, Luis. And I guess that's the car right there. The thing's all beat up. Black BMW. Beat his ass. Oh, they probably. I mean, I'm glad this guy didn't get to off himself. That maybe that was his intention at some point, since there might be a bomb in the car, in the luggage. Maybe they can get some answers from this guy, but maybe he won't have much to say.
Families and friends, they say, who wanted to spend time together at the Christmas market. Nothing is as it was. My deepest sympathy goes out to the victims and their families. This is an incident that took place around 7 p.m. local time, where families would have been out busy shopping. It's the run-up to Christmas, just 5 days away, Friday night, going into the weekend. It was very busy. And for lots of people in Germany, this is perhaps bringing back memories from an incident that took place a number of years ago, 8 years ago, when there was a similar attack on a Christmas market in Berlin. This was December the 19th in 2016, where an extremist drove through a crowded Christmas market with a truck, and sadly 13 people were killed 8 years ago and dozens were injured. And today we have we know that a car has driven through a busy Christmas market filled with families through at speed. And 2 people so far, we understand, have died, including a toddler, and up to 70 people are injured. But as mentioned, these are numbers that are likely to change given the severity of the injuries that we are seeing in hospital. And this from Dr.
So one of the things I was wondering that popped in my head is, does Germany have the death penalty? And so they're saying that the capital punishment in Germany has been abolished for all crimes and is now explicitly prohibited by the Constitution. So they don't believe in the death penalty over there. Even attempted murder in Germany can result in a life sentence. So I guess this guy will get life, I guess.
Act alone. And we have this from the Magdeburg government website. The emergency services have currently confirmed the following figures. It says here 2 fatalities took place as a result of the incident. 15 people are seriously injured. 37 moderately so. 16 slightly injured. And the 100 firefighters.
It seems like there's like a lot of an uprising going on around the world, right? In country, like you look at the U.S. with the swing, with Trump, and then I guess Germany is going through something like that. There's some places that people are just tired and fed up, people's way of lives. They want the country to be put first. People are upset. I even heard, I was talking to somebody today, because Haiti's doing really bad, and so I heard that Dominicans were kind of looking to like, how can we get rid of the people that are here, like or people trying to come in because it's just getting so bad, and things are like, it's like things are kind of switching in places, not for everybody, but there's like this massive shift happening. Are people just tired of, I don't know, everything that we're seeing, even though people locally are crazy too, but it's interesting to see.
Saba was reading out there 3 professional fire brigades, 4 volunteer fire brigades, 50 rescue service personnel, and all those working alongside the police at the scene.
Yes, it's a huge emergency service operation now, and it will run through the night with everybody there. So you're now getting to the stage where hopefully most of the casualties have been evacuated in ambulances.
All right, I'm going to jump off for now because I have this stuff I got to do, this paperwork stuff that I've been procrastinating. I started, but if crazy stuff pops off, I'll come back on it. I think I have another notification left. So if something pops off, we'll come back on. I'm just keeping an eye. I'm procrastinating, but I'm doing some paperwork stuff that I need to do. I think I do have a notification. I'll keep an eye for updates on this story too, and condolences to the families and friends. And it's just crazy, man. I'd be infuriated if it was like my family. Yeah, I have another notification. One more. So, but yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Stay safe. Freaking crazy. No, not taxes. I actually did my taxes really late, but I did my taxes. It's legal stuff that I have to like fill out all this information and type all this stuff out. So I need to get the ball rolling with that. But yeah, just be safe, man, because it's like, it's just ridiculous. Love you guys. Peace. Bye. Bloop, 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 bloop.